We take you live now to Toronto Police Headquarters, where they're set to provide an update on an interprovincial firearms and drugs investigation involving Toronto street gangs.
Thank you for joining us. Today, I am pleased to announce the conclusion of a significant interprovincial firearms and drug investigation into a Toronto street gang that led to 32 arrests and 158 charges being laid. Over the past 11 months, officers from the Toronto Police Services Integrated Gun and Gang Task Force Major Projects Section have worked diligently to bring this investigation to a close. Project Fox began in September of 2023 with funding provided by the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario. We partnered with York Regional Police, Peel Regional Police Service, and the Ontario Provincial Police to disrupt the Jamestown Crips drug and firearm trafficking network. The Jamestown Crips are a long-standing street gang operating in Toronto. Numerous gang affiliates have been involved in the illegal possession of firearms. Many of these affiliates have engaged in the trafficking of illicit drugs all across Ontario, Manitoba, and Newfoundland and Labrador. Their traffic operations have included the use of Canada Post to distribute drugs in other provinces. Between April and July of 2024, officers executed 35 search warrants in Toronto, Hamilton, Vaughan, Brampton, Mississauga, Guelph, and even Thompson, Manitoba. This resulted in the arrest of 32 suspects. I will now turn it over to Inspector Paul Krawchuk from our Integrated Guns and Gangs Task Force to give you a few more details about this investigation.
Thank you, Deputy. Good morning, everyone. Gangs operate with a total disregard for the safety and well-being of others. The criminal activities endanger innocent lives and destabilize communities. We are taking decisive action to remove these dangerous elements from our streets. This operation has led to the seizure of 9 firearms, 4.7 kilograms of cocaine with an approximate street value of $568,000, 6 kilograms of methamphetamine valued at approximately $480,000, and more than $320,000 cash in proceeds of crime. These images are available for download in the news release posted on our website, tps.ca. All 32 individuals that have been arrested have appeared in court, and further proceedings are underway for 5 others. The 158 criminal charges laid include possession of a controlled substance for the purpose of trafficking, possession of a prohibited device, possession of proceeds of crime, trafficking, conspiracy, firearms offenses, tampering with a serial number, assault, participating in the activities of a criminal organization, and commission of an offense for a criminal organization. A complete list of all individuals and charges is available in the news release posted on our website. Toronto gangs are not just a local problem. Their influence is no longer contained to specific streets or areas in our city. As you can see from this investigation and the map up on the screen, their criminal networks extend far beyond Toronto, reaching into other provinces and affecting communities across the country. This investigation affected areas across Ontario and cities like Thompson, Manitoba, and St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. Their reach into these cities spreads violence, drugs, and fear, and we must do everything we can to stop them. I will now hand it back to Deputy Johnson.
Thank you, Paul. This investigation demonstrates the importance of interagency cooperation and the dedication of our officers and partners. Together, we are committed to disrupting these criminal networks and ensuring the safety of our communities. We know that drug trafficking fuels addiction, violence, and crime. We will continue to work diligently, leveraging all available resources and partnerships. We will not let criminal gangs, firearms, or drugs undermine the safety and quality of life in our city. I would like to conclude by thanking our partner agencies who assisted this investigation, including the Criminal Intelligence Service of Ontario, York Regional Police, Peel Regional Police Service, the Ontario Provincial Police, Canada Border Services Agency, Homeland Security, Canada Post Security Investigative Services, FinTrack, Via Rail Police, Thompson Manitoba RCMP, Golden Horseshoe RCMP, the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary, Hamilton Police Service, South Simcoe Police Service, and Thunder Bay Police Service. We'd be happy to take some of your questions right now.
You said they were using Canada Post to distribute drugs. Can you speak a little bit more about how that was happening?
Sure, I'll turn it over to Inspector Krawczyk for that.
Thank you, Deputy. Yes, so Canada Post, there's many ways, of course, that people can traffic drugs, right? Planes, trains, automobiles. Canada Post is just another way. In this particular instance, they use Canada Post, but it isn't so obvious, right? They're concealing it, they're making it look like a regular package, and obviously lots of packages are going through Canada Post daily, hourly. So they were trying to conceal what they were doing, but our investigation revealed this, and so we worked with Canada Post to intercept packages before they got to St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador.
Were any guns being shipped as well, or just drugs, do you think?
In this investigation, we did not come across guns being shipped, but it would not surprise me if that's being used.
Inspector, the guns that you seized, are you able to tell where they came from?
So that's part of the process where we'll have them traced. I don't have the results with me now, but it's part of the daily efforts of the Gun and Gang Unit to trace where these firearms do. Obviously, a lot of them come from south of our border, and we work with the different agencies down there as well to follow up on that.
How did this come to start in September 2023?
So we decided to focus on a gang that historically well established in the Rexdale neighborhood. That neighborhood has experienced a disproportionate amount of violent crime that's associated to gangs, shootings, carjackings, robberies, that kind of thing. And so our intention was to focus on that area to help alleviate some of this for the community.
Do you know when the Jamestown Crips started? Like it's been decades.
They've been well established for quite some time, yes.
Deputy, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Follow up to the inspector's question. Many police leaders that I've spoken with, the chief and perhaps even you, unfortunately, have said that you'd like to see more work from the feds when it comes to sealing up the borders for guns coming in and changes in the bill or to enforce the bill when it's called for. We see these projects all the time. Great police work that's being done. Do you need help?
Obviously, Steve, we need as much help as we can, and like we said at the outset of this thing, the success of this is the partnerships that we have, not only with law enforcement, but our provincial and federal counterparts as well. So, we would never say no to help, and there's a lot of work being done in this space that overlaps with a whole bunch of other, community safety issues that we're trying to address in the city.
And as far as the feds go, are you getting cooperation from them when it comes to guns coming in from the state?
Yeah, I can tell you we meet regularly. The chief and myself have both met regularly with provincial and federal ministers to address this, along with our partners in law enforcement right across the country. Thank you.
There one youth here who's charged 16 years old. Can you speak a little bit more about the city's goal or?
Inspector Krawczyk?
Because of the Youth Criminal Justice Act, I can't really say much other than the person was 16 years old.
How big of an impact do you think this is going to have on the Crips? Sounds like a lot of arrests, but he seems to know that it's quite an expansive organization.
I appreciate the question. It's a bit difficult to answer because it's pretty subjective, obviously. Our intention is to disrupt. I'm not going to be up here trying to pretend that the gang doesn't exist as of this morning. But the reality is, when you can take 9 guns off the street, just one gun can be used in dozens of shootings and claim innocent lives. And when you take drugs off the street, obviously there's people watching right now whose drugs have affected their family terribly. So I think anytime we have the ability to do that and disrupt a gang, I think that's good for the community. And I think whether how the gang looks after that, it's difficult for me to answer.
And you mentioned 32 arrests. Did I hear you say?
Well, we've been listening to Toronto Police at headquarters providing an update on an interprovincial firearms and drugs investigation dubbed Project Fox. It started in September of 2023, involved multiple police services, including York, Peel, OPP. It resulted in 32 people getting arrested, 158 charges being laid, and the aim was to disrupt the Jamestown Crips drugs and firearms trafficking network.